Hello, Bravo. There's a guy who was supposed to do New Year's Eve with Anderson Cooper, and there was just an ad placement with police that had Weathersfield Police Chief, a Cintron. There was an old police chief years ago with the same house. Excuse me. That was associated with a woman reportedly his intimate tied to him intimately, like his girlfriend. And then people moved in that had a boy in my grade and had a sister, and they're involved with her sister's husband and other. I never met her sister husband. I barely ever saw the sister. Now these are people also with their extended family members that went to my school, but I never saw them around school. I never hung around with his cousins and him and his friends from my grade. Now, any exceptions were them recorded making confessions to me about with other people too. Because when I was in this grammar school, also there's an O'Brien family that's involved with reportedly also with lobbyists. Now, but they were involved with through time retired and standing intercities police chiefs and religious locations and various natures of courts and prisons and dozens of people on and off Central Connecticut State University involved with predicate acts with them. So it's not just my town's police chief. It's also his daughter and her extended family member. They're also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with uses of an extent. Nothing against the people who work with these locations. Recorded, confessed, demonstrated influence by Weathersfield Police Chief and involvements also with administrations and with military predicate acts roles with them, with the child offenders, on and off intercities campuses, and with locations on like an Exxon gas station in Rocky Hill. That has nothing to do with the people inside of it. There's a woman, Bobby, and she has like that lived next to Central Connecticut State University, which is also involved with training police undercover, whatever, male and female. But they're also involved with regular investigations and investigators who have had that employed uses of that to put fake things in the databases. Uses of that to do tricks where they direct people to say things out of sequence when they already said other. Because these are courts at the same time forging names, switching names. They need to pretend to perceive things because they need to hide things from presidents. And they need to force presidents to be roles with them. They have to force vice presidents to be roles with them. So many tied to a Spada family are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with predicate acts on and off the New Haven FBI, on and off Yale College, on and off colleges in Hartford like Trinity College, little kids' campuses next to it like that. I don't know them. They're involved with various natures of judges and their extended family members with identity thefts. As the people that had shared boyfriends at the same time, they made all these confessions to me about this. And these are also people with locations all along roads, routes, and highways with all kinds of confessions tied to locations, demonstrated roles with it. There's a pattern of people. So this is my new and past neighbors. I don't know their names. And with this Dillon family, and this is intercities with them. Shared policing of internation and national companies. Shared policing of campuses. Shared policing of on and off campuses. So this is where and how we are extorted here and there together at the same time, our nations. That's where they rightfully pretend to be against presidents extorting other presidents. With that, they're all extorting each other. sickly, distinctly, non-distinctly, individually grouped together methodically. We have that self-value by this fake integrity treatments of positive value are only let heard. So they have Anderson Cooper as a victim who never came through any other campus, but a criminally foreign, but one in collusion with criminally foreign influence premises treatments. In collusion with the differential, tactically sick, everyone though, differentially to different extents, American history, American science, American campuses, each of the sciences, each of the campuses of each age and nature, and further intersciences, to keep the identity the sciences share worse than obfuscated, to keep identities of experts, uses of that, and then defenses of their premises treatments with uses of that criminally foreign influence, delusions raw, abridged, as the value of the Constitution abridged rolls with that. So we have leading up to the World Trade Center attack, leading up to it and in it, Wethersfield police chief is also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with a whole bunch of people tied to them and other Wethersfield police in their sexual circles. I'll give you even Saudis I'll give you affidavit. They will confirm this. Even the ones I don't know involved with West Farmers Mall, with the Scalora family, with the ones from my town involved. Also along the routes. That's also with a Chris Walters all along Walker Hill Road, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. Predicate acts with people that are with crimes with kids through time. Now that he's an adult, he self-valued roles with the adults that child abused him, as actually recorded. He's rolls with now with those people, even though they're child sex offenders, because the job's tied to must be something related to that. It was confessed, recorded, demonstrated. Washington D.C. a number of ways. Pentagon a number of ways associated with him, and with other private school kids that went around that lived around campuses I went to that are involved with falsified police reports, sequence shifts, identity thefts, frauds, racketeering. Worse. And with all tied to my new and past neighbors involved with them. People still active with Facebook. The Facebook page of New Britain Superior Court is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with predicate acts, delivery systems, roles. They didn't use that. The role uses of child campuses. So we have educational departments that are keeping tactically sick identities of stewards. Good people. They want to prove that. They want to follow the rules and rely on this type of expert. Those type of experts tell them all the perfect world doesn't exist. And everyone stays not time for equality of fact, human nature proper. Not time for all that the sciences are actually in demonstration of. All that is really the proper wording of the answer to questions. Abridged. So see, then these are World Trade Center attack roles that Wethersfield Police Chief has through other natures of organized crime. Also involved with the black officer who was in that advertisement with him. These are black and white female judges involved with predicate acts that are Confederate flag themed and KKK flag themed, and with people on off Central Connecticut State University, also involved with untimely death spots and with murder spots with the Wethersfield Police Chief's daughter, or extended family member's daughter, her husband's sister, as one of the ones that rolls with a murder on off of a person found dead in his car, reported next to a skate park / woods near Central Connecticut State University and near Normandy Heights, which is also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved intercities predicate acts with their workers and with their family members and people tied to them, and on and off the campuses as these ones rolls with that. So respond for them. Also, houses on and off two-route highway. Also recorded, confessed, demonstrated predicate acts rolls with narratives and also involved with this folklore. And now these are people involved with predicate acts with a forensics location, further involved with child sex offenders, and with the transition from ACA to RICO, and with the transition into the Department of Homeland Security and into the Patriot Act, with these criminal foreign influences roles with our investigators of it, with the attackers. These are people with also as the ones with recorded uses of the sick identities of identity, the ground locations, identities of religious people when it comes time to follow mandated law. We have to have a response for interbranch, forging names, switching names, preventing writing through lifetimes. New Britain Superior Court has been federal crimes with kids and sustained crimes against kids since I was a kid. Intercities from Wethersfield. Note where George Washington had to leave overt slavery entrenched in North, right between New York and Boston. In the North, New York and Boston too. Those narratives, you have fake sides of like the narratives regarding the Declaration of Independence. I'll do a video on it with a person who's giving a purported ulterior. Well, this isn't true, but this. To make true or not, what is evidence is that how all the database relationships, everyone was sick predator roles, forced, or you were hurt. Then what becomes the subject is the breaching method recorded, actually. They can't have that understood because they're still using it. It's a database tied method. Then it became worse when they got computers. Further and further from those spots, having to value each age of fact should be nature, separated from correlation, simultaneously inherent active progressive means, one way redeems, separated from the ability to have free speech, which is very simple to demonstrate the identity theft, frauds, and racketeering involved with those methods, sequence racketeering. Justifications of that pretending to be positive anyway. That's evidence. See where evidence predators trained to it. Everyone, oh, that's how we were trained. We have victim predators. See a movie called, or read a book called, see the movie. We don't have time for the book. I don't know, I never read the book. And then people go, oh, well, read. People have passions, but then it comes time to follow mandated law related to actual recorded abuses of kids. A pattern of them connected, juxtaposed natures arrive. They're not legitimately, they pretend, oh, we're just testing the kids. These are connected on and off campuses. Now, response, I have to keep asking, trying to figure out how I'm going to get a response because Department of Motor Vehicles, Department of Transportation also has families recorded that sought me out that I don't know and that were influenced to be right there when I was going to be by the people further involved with New Britain Superior Court with predicate acts. Personally, their family members, and their locations roles. As the ones further involved with my town's police chief with Bravo and with CNN predicate acts and roles leading up to and since the Trade Center attack to hide it. Now there are also roles with predicate acts on off VA and their relationship to regular campuses and people involved with them with predicate acts where they have to keep, they use crime methods where they make fights while between people so they can pretend to be speaking about things honestly because they need to hide from what is already recorded before that and they're lying about when bad things happen that are really they encounter the right people. They're attaching lies to that too.